Hello and welcome back to Vox Terra. Today, the 2022 midterms in the US of A, Democrats versus Republicans. I urge you, voters and even non-voters, your starting point should be the environment. Your middle point should be the environment, and your ending point should be the environment. Why? Look around you. We are pumping this biosphere, this earth, full of greenhouse gases and carcinogens, all to facilitate a largely go-nowhere consumeristic rat race. Buy, sell, buy, need it or don't. With a hurried, stressed-out population on a heating planet set in motion by the excessive burning of fossil fuels. Heat waves, wildfires, and intense rainfalls, all largely on the rise. Doubling down on tax cuts for the rich and deregulating the environment will not get us out of this. It will dig us in deeper. So whether you identify as conservative, are what I call both sides are the same leftist, or maybe it's time to give the Republicans a chance again with this inflation, whatever camp you are in, this video is for you. In this episode, I'm going to highlight for you the League of Conservation Voters, their environmental scorecard of 2021 for Congress. So for starters, and I might slip into some of my native accents for this one since I'm going to be citing a bit. For starters, look at this U.S. Congressional Senate map of 2021. We see almost a mirror image of Democrats versus Republicans. Only substitute, instead of red state equaling Republican versus blue state equaling Democrat and purple as contested, look at this map and it shows you darkest, deepest red equals the lowest environmental scorecard. Darkest, deepest green equals the highest, best environmental scorecard. And yellow equals the middleist. I know that's not a word, but it should be. Now you'll see it's the same for the House of Representatives. So as a sample, let's just start with the League's All Members of Congress scores. Senate Democrats 2021. Starting randomly at the top, Mark Kelly, Democrat, Arizona. Lifetime score 97 percentile. And as we go down that row, largely 80s, 90s to 100 percenters. Notable exception, Joe Manchin at 56%. Now switch to the Republicans. Tommy Tuberville with a lifetime score of 6%. Yes, his parents gave him a fun name, but he does not appear to be so fun for our environment. Scroll down and the pattern remains the same. For those Republican senators, largely single-digit scores. Some teens, a few 20s. Michael Crapo for our environment, at 7%. Susan Collin of Maine, outlier, at 60%. Josh Hawley, 5%. Senor Ted Cruz, on cruise control to doom at 3%. Well, it is the same deal for the House of Representatives. Democrats typically in the high 80s, 90s, hundreds, with a few outliers in the low scores. Ro Khanna, a politician to keep an eye on in my opinion, at 99%. The much vilified Squad, Rashida Tlaib at 96%, Ilhan Omar 97%, and AOC at 96%. Well, whatever you may think or are being told about their other liberal political stands, when it comes to our environment, they are doing something right. Now contrast with the House Republicans, typically in single digits, with occasional rises above. Kevin McCarthy, 4%. Representative Doug LaMalfa, which translates as the Malfa, lifetime score of 2%. Well, President Biden was a former senator, and he got an 83% lifetime score. Not too shabby, not in the 90s. Bernie was a 91%. Kamala Harris is a 90. Contrast Mitch McConnell at 9%. Trump's one-year presidential scorecard in F. Ron DeSantis, Florida governor, possible presidential candidate, 2%. Infamous for shipping migrants to Martha's Vineyard in so-called liberal states, even though Florida is not a border town. Just briefly, the League does describe their methodology, tallying votes related to air quality, clean energy, and efficiency. Well, come on, air quality, we can't argue with that. You're talking about how much particulate matter you're breathing in or not breathing in. climate change, including the much underreported fossil fuel and nuclear energy subsidies, or what they call dirty energy. No one's talking about that money going to those industries, but they sure squawk about greener, less polluting energy sources. Lands and forests. Well, come on, protecting those, where are you going to argue with that? Oceans, the public's right to know. That means access to information. A big issue largely ignored by our media, and that was one of the big problems during the Trump administration, was cutting back our access to good scientific information. Okay, so why am I the one highlighting this League of Conservation Voters scorecard to you and other media outlets aren't? Well, I think it's for a similar reason they downplay what's happening to our environment, and for a similar reason they downplay all the millions of dollars of fossil fuel petrochemical money going to politicians, the disproportionate lion's share largely going to Republicans, because the media itself has ties to those industries. So as far as my friends who identify as conservative or socially conservative, look, in my opinion, we can argue for and against some of these culture war issues, or even just try to nuance them and find common ground from now for as long as the human race exists. Once you put carcinogens and greenhouse gases into our biosphere, they are there circulating around. You can't see them. You can't stop them. So that is a real issue that exists in objective reality. As far as let's give the Republicans a chance of this inflation and this mess. Well, look, this stuff is going on worldwide. And on a heating planet, we're getting more crop failures. That's going to lead to more inflation. And to my both sides are the same leftist friends. I get it. I've done a lot of shows on the military-industrial complex. And when it comes to donations from the defense industry and their influence, it's almost tied among Democrats and Republicans. So here we just got to look at the fact that while Democrats are not necessarily these environmentalists trying to reshape our economy and get us away from this rat race, they are more influenced by the environmental groups and are more responsive to them. And one great example, are these League of Conservation Voter scorecards. So at this juncture in history, with this current state of the Republican Party being so dominated by these fossil fuel interests and what I call the reckless elements of the business community, either letting them take over again by apathy, regardless of how you feel about these culture war issues, is a mistake. Well, hey, I hope you found this video interesting, helpful, compelling, a little entertaining, and if so, please make sure you are subscribed to my channel. You've clicked that notification bell. You're liking, you're commenting. Sincere constructive criticism is welcome. You are donating at Patreon. Thank you, Belle Lagrissi and Environmental Coffee House. And until next time, and as always, peace be with you.